Hey guys, it's Hazza here, and today I am bringing you a review of the very controversial game DmC Devil May Cry. Now, DmC Devil May Cry, if you didn't know and you live under a rock, is the fifth game in a series of games published by Capcom, and previously they were made by a completely other developer. And this fifth game in the series has been made by a Western studio called Ninja Theory, and they actually come from UK, where I live. But they've been the subjects of a lot of controversy because they took the game in a different direction as shown by demos and gameplay trailers. Most notably, Dante's overall appearance has changed and his character has changed. It's supposed to be a reboot or a different version or an alternate universe, that kind of thing. It's not meant to be a continuation of the previous series story. So I thought we'd get down straight into it. So we'd talk about the story in general. Now, I really appreciate the story. Appreciate isn't the wrong word, but I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed it a lot. The story was it was well done. It was well written. I thought the writing was really good. The way the story was delivered, the way it progressed. I never felt like, oh, I just wish I knew what would happen. Blah 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 blah. Like, that never happened. Like, it was I think it was really well done. But the big one when it comes to the story is the characters. The characters are the really big important ones. Now, there's going to be a spoiler here. If you don't want to know anything about the game, but it's a very, very minor spoiler. It happens in like the first mission, so like whatever. Basically, Virgil is in this game. Who, if you didn't know, Virgil is Dante's brother. And they are called Nephilim. So they are They are the son of a demon and the sons of an angel. And obviously they, you get the picture. But yeah, that happens. And so these characters, they're very young. They're like, I mean, Dante must be 20s, early 20s, maybe even younger. And the same goes for Virgil. And I think that really reflects in how the character design is done. In the previous Devil May Cry games, they were both very much older. And it really reflects that in the game. In the new DmC Devil May Cry, they both seem to be very immature. Well, not Virgil so much. I think Virgil's older than Dante, but Dante seems to be very immature. He swears a lot. He's vulgar. He shows very little respect, and he has a very brute force way of handling things. And I think that speaks volumes for the way his character was designed, and it never deviated from that. But when he was given a cause to where he had to take care and he had to be careful, he couldn't just deal with things the way he would deal with anything else, with brute force, with charging straight in, guns blazing, sword swinging. Like, he had to learn to control his temper, to control his mannerisms, that kind of thing. And you still see the attitude develop, and it's still present throughout the game, but it never gets in the way of anything. And I think the character progression as the game continues is really, really good. I'd also like to mention another character called Cat, who you meet in the first mission also. Cat is a human, and he's basically a psychic. She's basically a psychic. And she has the ability to kind of not merge with the demon world, Limbo, but she can't go there, but she can almost like project a spiritual form there, and she can explore it herself. It's really quite interesting. But she's a great character. I think she's really well designed. I end up looking at her ass a lot. She has really nice legs. I don't know. I think that's a bit weird, to be honest. But she does have really nice legs. Yeah, mine went blank there for a minute when I just started thinking about Cat's legs. But yeah, and her character's got a really cool little progression to it. How Virgil found her, and through Virgil she studied Wicca, so she learned how to make warp portals and ways to get in and out of Limbo and things like that. It's really, really cool. And that's really it for the story. I mean, I can't really fault it, to be honest. Like, honestly, I really can't fault it. The only thing is that it gets a bit predictable. It's a lot of people have compared the story to a film called They Live, and it's just basically about how corporations are enslaving the human race and blah 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 blah. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think it's well written. I think it's been really well done. So don't let the story put you off at all. Definitely. Now the main one, the big thing, is gameplay. I think gameplay is the most important thing when it comes down to this review. And what do you think? So I've never played Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry series before. I've played Devil May Cry 4. I played it a lot and I really enjoyed it. But I never played the original trilogy on the PlayStation 2. I did play some of the first one, but I was very, very young and I couldn't remember much of it. I've actually recently bought the Devil May Cry HD collection, so I'm planning to play through that. I've played through some of the first boss, the first game, and I'm just up to the bit with the first encounter with the weird lava spider thing. But the gameplay is really, really addictive. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of different weapons. You unlock weapons as you go further through the game, and there's a lot of platforming sections as well as fighting sections. The platforming sections are actually really fun, and they are they're just as challenging to get through as the fighting sections are. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna make you do this platforming section to fill in about 5 minutes of game time. It's actually, here's a challenging platforming section for you to do where you'll have to swap between angel and demon modes to use your whips to create a path for you to get across this area. It's really fun. The main part though is the fighting, and the fighting is done in a way where you have two main styles of weapon. You have angel weapons, you have demon weapons. Now demon weapons tend to be very heavy hitting, do a lot of damage. Angel weapons tend to be kind of quite quick, but low damage, and they're best used for crowd control if you want to hit a lot of people at the same time. So it's really good for clearing an area, so you can focus down on a harder enemy with perhaps demon weapons if you can. And I say if you can because that's the key thing about the gameplay. There are different types of enemies as well as there are different types of weapon. Some weapons are blue, and some enemies are blue, and some enemies are red. You can see where I'm going with this. The blue enemies can only be hurt by the angel weapons, and the red enemies can only be hurt by the demon weapons. It goes further on that some enemies will have attacks that will only hurt you if you are not in a specific mode. So a very early on enemy that you encounter is called the Hell Knight. And the Hell Knight has a maneuver where he plunges his sword into the ground, and he makes like all the ground go really, really hot, and it's quite interesting. But at the same time, it's like it's a bit much to think about. I don't like to think about it a lot. It kind of kills the flow if I'm like, oh yeah, and I can do this angel weapon move, and suddenly it's like, but the Hell Knight's about to do his little demon thing, so okay, I'll just fight a bit in demon mode for a bit. It doesn't last for very long, so it doesn't hurt you that much, but it definitely makes you think on the fly, and that's something that I kind of like about the combat. A lot of people have detrimented the game for saying that the limit of being able to only use certain weapons on certain enemies like stunts your creativeness. While I think I agree with that, I think it does stunt your creativeness. I think it adds challenge to the combat in the fact that you can't just find a combo that you like and do it over and over and over again. Because the rankings aren't based on skills and variety, they're just based on damage. I think that's just something I should add in straight away. But like you have to be constantly thinking on the fly, like how you can keep this combo going. And it's really kind of reactive more than proactive, and I kind of like that about the combat. It's more reactive. I feel like I'm more like a ninja. Like I'm consciously reading in my surroundings, doing a move to counter that, and then perhaps getting a quick hit in, or maybe going on full offensive, and like dodging like by near misses and kind of things like that. It's really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the combat in the game. I played on the hardest difficulty available, which was called Nephilim mode, and I didn't struggle that much until the last four or five missions of the game, so mission 15 up to mission 20. Those I found quite difficult on Nephilim mode. Then again, I'm not that good at these games, so other people might think that it's still quite easy, and other people might think that Nephilim mode's way too hard. I'll play on Devil Hunter mode or whatever. But yeah, the combat was really a lot of fun. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the environments. The environments in in the in the game. The environments are incredible. I think it's the thing that I enjoyed most about Devil May Cry was the environments. You see, the environments have to do with the fact that most of the game takes place in a place called Limbo. Now, Limbo is sort of where the demons live, and it's parallel to the real world, but the people in the real world can't see what happens in Limbo. And Limbo is kind of like a distorted and destroyed version of the real world. So, if you say you were in a warehouse, and you go, and it's quite a small warehouse, with lots of crates all over the place. You go into Limbo, that warehouse might double or triple or quadruple inside. Crates may start flying all over the place. There'll be crates floating in midair. One of the walls will be on the ceiling. There'll be shelves all over the place. It's really, really incredible. There'll be, or consider the fact that you have a walkway, and this walkway just turns and spirals as you walk along it. And the camera won't turn. The camera won't turn, but the camera will turn, but Dante won't. So that is to say that like you'll still see Dante kind of upside down, but like it's really good. I love it. It's the best. So the environment's hands down probably one of the best parts. Probably one of the last things I want to talk about is the music. The music is a very key thing in Devil May Cry. Throughout Devil May Cry, the music has always been sort of a rocky metal kind of thing, and it was interesting. I always thought it was quite good. And in this one, you can tell right from the start of the game that they've kept with the metal kind of aspect to it, but they've added a kind of electronic kind of house theme to it, which I really enjoyed. As soon as the first song comes on in the first mission, I was like, right, okay. I turned my sound effects down to half, put music all the way up, and put my headphones up onto full max, and it was such an incredible experience. Some people won't enjoy the music; they'll find it jarring, they just generally won't like it. Some people might think that it doesn't fit the game. I personally think that it really does fit the game. The fact that Dante is basically a badass, and this is kind of something that he does casual when he listens to music while he does it. So, like, this is just what his casual thing. This is what he does. I really enjoyed that. And I just really enjoyed the music. As I said, other people might not enjoy it, but everyone's got their own tastes. But definitely, if you enjoyed something like Splatterhouse, think of it as kind of like a less extreme version of Splatterhouse, and that's kind of where this is trying to go. I can't really think of much else to talk about, apart from, throughout the game you unlock items and upgrades and stuff like that. A lot of the upgrades are kind of, they're mainly passive, and they just kind of, they make your current abilities stronger. You can eventually unlock everything by just playing the game multiple times, which I'm currently in the process of doing at the moment. I'm playing through the game on Son of Sparda mode, which is a harder version than Nephilim, and you unlock that after you beat it on Nephilim mode. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game. I struggle to fault it. I really do. Something that I've missed something. The boss fights. I should have said earlier when I was talking about gameplay. The boss fights are really cool. I think the environments really add to the boss fights to make them interesting. They're very, very unique. There are two boss fights in particular which are incredible, because they're not boss fights, they're boss sequences. You're not constantly fighting the boss, you may be fighting enemies, you may be fighting, you may be platforming, and you may be doing really, really quite unique platforming. And it's just the presentation, the style, the production value that's put into these boss fights was really, really good. They're not that challenging, but they're good. I have found some of in the last levels, the combat, the proper combat, I found to be more difficult than the boss battles ever were. And that's because they put very difficult styles of enemies against you at the same time, so it's kind of difficult. But yeah, Bob Barbus, that is a freaking ace boss fight. But yeah, overall, when I think about the game, I can only think of positive things. So at least rent it. It's not that long of a game. It's about an 8-hour game, so if you rent it for a weekend, you could probably get through it. But yeah, definitely give it a try. Just go out and rent it out. So yeah, that has been Hazard. That's been my sort of review thing for Devil May Cry, DmC Devil May Cry. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later, guys.